It's clear to Cubs fans that Seiya Suzuki is injured, but literally, how injured is he, and how are the Chicago Cubs going to handle this injury? How are they handling it? We got to talk about it. And we'll preview Cubs Phillies this weekend. Let's go. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Chicago Cubs Central fam? It's your boy Mike Jones back again with another episode of Chicago Cubs Central. And listen, guys, the Chicago Cubs have been on a tear, a hot streak. They are 16 and 10. I'm sorry, 16 and 11. No, 16 and 10 on the season after sweeping the Los Angeles Dodgers 2-game series set earlier this week. Chicago Cubs were off on Thursday. They return to play this coming Friday, and it is a 1:20 start time. The Chicago Cubs will be at Wrigley, and they will be wearing their blues. So make sure that you guys tune into that game. On the mound for the Phillies will be T1 Walker, who has a 1-1 record with a 2.29 ERA. Going for the Cubs will be Colin Ray, who has a 0-0 record with a 1.32 ERA. Let's see if the Cubs can get Colin his very first win as a Chicago Cub. Would love to see that. The Chicago Cubs hitting has to continue in order for this to happen. And let's make it known right now. Kyle Schwarber don't play no games, man. This dude is amazing. He does strike out a lot. Kyle Schwarber will strike out a lot for the Phillies, but if he gets a hold of one, he's knocking it on the wavelength. Kyle Schwarber's the guy that hit a ball off the scoreboard and broke the scoreboard, broke the LED scoreboard. So, let's just make it known right now. He's coming to hit, and you already know what Bryce Harper can do. You already know what Nicholas Castellanos can do. Like I said, if the wind is blowing out, bear down, as they say, like I said, because you just don't know what's going to happen this weekend. So we'll just have to see what happens with this game. Obviously, we have Kyle Tucker, who leads the Chicago Cubs in basically every single metric when it comes to batting, with 7 home runs, a .314 batting average, and 25 RBIs. Like I said, his slug is .637. His OBP is .423. Um, Again, 25 RBIs. Can't say enough great things about Kyle Tucker and what he brings to this team and how he's literally leading this team and showing us how it's done. Great thing. There is a Cub killer that is on the IL. Brandon Marsh always seems to play really good against the Chicago Cubs. He is on the 10-day IL. So, like I said, it's just looking like one of those things where he won't be playing probably this weekend, which is great. But again, you still have a lot of firepower, especially with Bryce Harper on this team. So, Chicago Cubs need to come prepared. Pitchers need to be ready. And hopefully, like I said, we can continue this hot streak that we're on, and continue to rack up wins, man. If we're winning the ones that are tough, then the easy ones should be easy, right? In theory, that's how it should be, correct? But we'll just have to see what the Chicago Cubs have in store this weekend. Hopefully, they can keep scoring runs and continue the success that they're having with this style of play. With that being said, we were speaking about the injury list. Seiya Suzuki, y'all, is injured. And the Chicago Cubs have been very sly about how they kind of handle things with Seiya Suzuki, because he's in the lineup, out of the lineup, in the lineup, out of the lineup. He was supposed to play Wednesday, but was a late scratch due to an injury, this wrist injury, and it's the same wrist injury that he was dealing with and missed time with earlier on in the season. It's the same one that he injured against the Texas Rangers, and he's kind of been dealing with this injury now for a couple of weeks. Seiya is trying to work and play through the injury, and the great part about it is that his numbers actually haven't dropped. Like I said, it's one of those things where he's still able to produce coming off that DH list. He has a slash line of .276, 354, .540, and 146 WRC plus with 6 home runs through his first 99 plate appearances this season. So essentially, Seiya Suzuki is turning into the hitter that the Chicago Cubs thought they were signing when they signed him in 22. Now, albeit you want to give a lot of that credit again. I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but you want to give a lot of that credit to Kyle Tucker. I think hitting behind Kyle Tucker, and like I said, and just having that person there gives Seiya Suzuki a lot of wiggle room to work. And he's come behind Kyle Tucker and been able to get some really good hits off of these pitchers that he's seen so far. And for what it's worth, I mean, he's seen some of the best pitchers in baseball. So it's not like he's making these numbers or doing these numbers up against slouches. He's doing this up against some of the best pitchers in baseball. So um again, I feel as though the Chicago Cubs are lucky. I do feel as though that they need to take precautions, every precaution with Seiya Suzuki, and make sure that they try to keep him healthy. Honestly, if push came to shove, once we get through this tough stretch, once we finish with the Phillies, the schedule does get a lot lighter. We do begin Central Division play. So, like I said, I mean, it could be one of those things where you could essentially put Seiya on the 10-day IL if that meant him being able to rest that wrist, avoid surgery, avoid any real serious damage, and then be able to come back and be the hitter that he has shown himself to be in the first month of the season. So I think the Chicago Cubs literally should look at that, consider that especially once we get through this Philly series, or if he can't play during the Philly series because his wrist is sore or it's jammed. Again, like I said, I do think that you know it's okay for them to sit him and rest him and put him on the IL for 10 days. I mean that does mean a hefty dose of Turner probably. But you also can flip Miguel Amaya and Carson Kelly and let one of them DH also, because both of them are having a really, really good, strong numbers as far as what they're doing as hitters this season. So I like I said, the Chicago Cubs have options. So I don't want them to feel like they have to put Seiya Suzuki out there if he isn't injured. We would rather him heal up, rest up, and be fully healthy versus going out there and playing. But that's our question of the day for this episode. Should the Chicago Cubs sit Seiya Suzuki if his wrist is really injured, or should they continue to try to let him play through it when he feels good enough to play, and then rest him when he doesn't? Let me know in the comments what you guys think below. Yeah, this is pretty major, man. Like I said, a Seiya Suzuki injury could potentially derail the season. Definitely will put a lot more pressure on Michael Bush. And again, you know what I'm saying, it'll cause Kyle Tucker to have a lot more pressure on him to carry the offense. But that man PCA is finding his way. And I was thinking about something. We were looking at PCA, and I remember PCA struggling last year and whatnot. And the year before that being sent up, called down, sent up, called back down. And then, like I said, I made me think of Matt Shaw. And with PCA finally finding his stride on this team and being who we know he can be, I really, it gives me hope for Matt Shaw too. It gives me hope that Matt Shaw is going to figure this out, y'all. Whatever's going on with his hitting, whatever's going on with his swing, whether it's his stance or what have you, I believe he's going to figure this out. He's going to come back better than ever. I don't know that it'll for sure be this season. I do expect him to call him back up at some point this season, but Matt Shaw's going to be better because of this. I don't think this is the end for him, and I don't think he's a bust. I don't think it's time for anybody to be giving up on Matt Shaw. I do think that he will figure this out and that he will come back better than ever. So, like I said, don't just hold tight. Keep the faith in the kid. He's a really, really, really good baseball player, and we are lucky to have him on this squad. But yeah, that's my time for today. Cubs Phillies Friday, 1:20 p.m. First pitch. It'll be Colin Ray versus Tijuan Walker. Don't miss out, guys. And of course, like I said, we will be talking about it after the game. Please make sure that you follow us on X at Chicago Cubs Central Pod. You can also follow us on Twitter. Twitter and X is the same thing. You can follow us on Instagram. You can also follow us on Twitch. You can also follow us on Apple Music, on Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify Podcasts, and of course, right here on YouTube. Appreciate each and every last one of you. Leave a voicemail at 217-816-5498 for a mailbag episode. Also, you can write me an email at Cubs1992, CubsBaseball1992@gmail.com. Appreciate each and every last one of you. Thank you guys so much. Let's cheer our Cubbies on as they go for another win. Appreciate you guys. Until next time, go Cubs go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.